It's a tremendous impact. It's a sad day, and I think in some ways, for me, it's a planetary loss. We've lost one of our moral centers of gravity, someone who shaped South Africa, who brought South Africa from the darkest days of apartheid to non-racial democracy, into a transition in which South Africa is one of the leading countries in Africa, and a country that has shown the world in some ways that there are ways of creating peace. And so much of that, I think, is owed to Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela didn't build buildings. He was in prison for 27 years. What he did, he built with words. He built with the words that he had when he wrote his autobiography in secret on Robben Island, the prison outside of Cape Town. He built with the speeches that he gave during the negotiations process, in which he risked a lot. He risked everything in some sense. He was accused of being a traitor for negotiating with the white government at the time. He showed us with words during his presidency. First and foremost, that he was only going to be president for one term. On a continent in which presidents turn into dictators and cling to power, Nelson Mandela said very clearly, one term and one term only, and I think he did that to make a point.
You met him?
I did meet him. I met him in 2002 at a conference, and the conference was dedicated to thinking about the ways forward for South Africa. He had come out of the presidency at that point and had been asked to speak at the conference, and it's funny because one of the things that happened during the conference, in the run-up to the conference, was that there was a boycott. And there were people picketing outside the conference. And you don't ask Nelson Mandela to cross a picket line. And he was very funny about it. He said that, in fact, he was not above protest or being protested, that he understood the objections of the people who were protesting the conference, and that they had an important point to make, and that the African National Congress, which he led for so many years, needed to listen to those voices.
What kind of person was he? You know, we see a lot of it on TV, you can form your own opinion, but you actually met him.
He was funny. He was deeply, deeply funny and deeply, deeply warm. One of the things I read this afternoon in reading the South African press was an overwhelming sense of how when you met Nelson Mandela, you felt held. Like he understood you, like he wanted to understand you, that he wanted to get to know you. In every situation that I've encountered him, in every situation where I've seen him, he radiated that presence and that strength.
You know, he's truly one of the great leaders of our time. What do you think his loss will mean, I guess, to the globe? I know you talked about the impact that he's had, but you know, when you lose a leader, you often think that there won't be anybody else to take their place. Yeah.
I think he taught us that we all have the capacity to be leaders. I think that's a lesson for the world, and I think that's one of the ways in which he'll be remembered. I think he taught us about our own humanity. I think he taught us about how to create peace with people with whom we don't think we have anything in common. And that in fact there are ways of doing that, and one can struggle with the words, and sometimes we have to speak a different language, and he did that. He spoke to the leaders of the white government in Afrikaans, the language of the oppressor in some sense, and he demonstrated to South Africans and he demonstrated to the world that it's possible to find those words.